You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Glad you can join me. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for being here for another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to my website, atswmikedavis.com. That's to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions or read any other blogs. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. So today I was just searching around online and I saw that Bleacher Report had put out the power rankings for this upcoming NFL season. I said, that doesn't look right. So with the season being, a weekend... Well, next Thursday. We're a week away. Yeah, next Thursday, the season kicks off. So I said, let me do some homework. Let me go in and see if this is right. So the way Bleacher Report had it set up was Kansas City is number 1. The Baltimore Ravens are number 2. The New Orleans Saints number 3. The San Francisco 49ers are number 4. And the Dallas Cowboys are number 5. So let's kind of dive into this right here. So Kansas City, I have no problem with that. When I went through their schedule, I have them going 13-3 this year and winning their division again. It wouldn't surprise me if KC actually repeats. They are just that far ahead of everybody else. The Baltimore Ravens they had them ranked second. Now, I went through Baltimore's schedule, and I have the Ravens at 12-4. I don't know about them ranking them number 2, but I don't really have any beef with that. Then it starts getting tricky. The New Orleans Saints. They have the Saints ranked at the number 3 position in the power rankings. So I went through the Saints schedule. I have the Saints going 10-6 this upcoming season. They have one of the tougher schedules in the league. So the games that stand out to me when I went through the schedule was they play Kansas City, they play at Denver, and that's going to be, when it's cold. I believe that's a November game. They play the Minnesota Vikings, and then you have their division games. I'm not counting Carolina. They don't really pose that much of a threat to me this year, but you still have the Falcons and you have the new Tampa Bay Bucks that New Orleans will have to go through. So that schedule is going to be brutal. Look, when the Saints get together with Atlanta every year, it's pretty much a even split. They pretty much, split that series every year. It doesn't matter whether you're home or away. It's one of those division rivals. If you watch football, you know about division rivals, and you can just throw the home records and whatever the overall records. You can throw whether you're at home or on the road out the window. It doesn't matter. It's a division game, and not just a division game, but a division rival. So I have the loss to the Falcons. Tampa, I think they're going to split with Tampa as well. I think that's another situation where division foe. So you're not just going to run through Tampa, another division rival. I believe Tampa will get them for at least one game. Tampa will beat them. I don't see the Saints beating Kansas City. Kansas City, out the gate, should be a team on a mission. So that's 3 losses right there. I don't see them beating Denver. Denver is that's going to be one of those slip-up games because they go to Denver in November, and that is going to be wintertime in Denver. And New Orleans is an indoor team, and you have a quarterback in Drew Brees whose arm, is not what it once was. So putting him out there in that cold element and the wind blowing, I'm taking Denver in that game. And then you have Minnesota. I don't see New Orleans beating Minnesota. I know they've gone toe-to-toe the past 2 or 3 seasons. I just think Minnesota holds their number, and I think that Minnesota ends up beating New Orleans. That's 5 losses right there. So, but when I went through their schedule, I had the Saints going 10-6 coming out, and that's not good to be third on the power rankings for this upcoming NFL season. Now, in 4th place, this is the team I would have put in 3rd as opposed to putting the New Orleans Saints, the San Francisco 49ers. I went through their division as well and went through their whole schedule. They kind of have, I won't say it's an easy schedule, but it's not a hard schedule also, even though they're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. And normally when you finish first in your division, the way the schedule lines up is you play the top teams of whatever division you're playing that next year. So San Francisco, I have them going 11-5. There were no real games that stood out to me like with New Orleans. They're going to be in some dog fights within their own division, like any division with Seattle and the Cardinals and whatnot, and the Rams. So they have their own divisional foes to worry about. I do think that, not New Orleans, I'm sorry, but Seattle is going to get them for at least one game. And same thing with the Rams. That's 2 losses. I don't think that they'll lose both games to the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sorry about that. I don't think that they'll lose both games to the Cardinals. But I have the San Francisco 49ers going 11-5. I will put them in that 3rd spot instead of New Orleans. And the team, I have no idea why this team keeps popping up on everybody's radar every year. The Dallas Cowboys, they have them rounding out the top 5 as far as the power rankings. So I went through and looked at Dallas' schedule and, did the wins and losses, where they're going to get wins and losses from. I have them going 9-7. Now, I think that the NFC East is one of the worst divisions in football, even though people praise it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. But those teams, that's one division where everyone beats up on everybody. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how bad you are. So I just think it's going to be another 9-7 year for Dallas. They got a new coach coming in with Mike McCarthy from, the former coach of the Packers. Look, Prescott has balled. I can't take nothing from him. He is balled, but it's something about him when it comes to big games that it doesn't impress me. Same with Ezekiel Elliott. I know that he's been balling as far as running backs go. If you go back the last couple of years, since he's gotten into the league, he's pretty much been the top back at or whatever it is, catching out of the backfield or rushing yards. That's been Ezekiel Elliott. But I just don't like Dallas in that number 5 spot. So when it comes to this whole thing, by the way, I have the Cowboys going 9-7. I would take the New Orleans Saints out of the top 5 power rankings, and I would take the Dallas Cowboys out of the top 5 power rankings. Teams to watch out for: the Seattle Seahawks. People sleep on the Seahawks, but as long as you got that guy back there behind center named Russell Wilson, they're going to always, they're going to be in some games. And people all of a sudden forgot about Minnesota. Like Minnesota just forgot how to play football. And I know this team lost a special wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. I still have the Texans as one of the top teams. And I'm going to tell you something. My sleeper team, don't sleep on the Buffalo Bills. Don't sleep on Buffalo. That was a playoff team last year. Now you have Allen coming back. He has some playoff experience now. He's got some experience under his belt. Teams are not going to want to go play in Buffalo in the wintertime. So, and they got Diggs. They just, got Diggs in the trade with Minnesota. So, be on the lookout for the Buffalo Bills. So, my opinion, you could put any of those teams I just mentioned, Seattle, Minnesota, Houston, and my sleeper team, Buffalo, you can insert them, two of those teams into that top 5, and you can take out New Orleans and Dallas. Dallas has no business being nowhere near a top anything. And that's not me hating because I don't like the Cowboys. People just slurp Dallas like they're. Look, Dallas has not done nothing since 94, 95? What's the old joke? They show their games on the History Channel. Like, people, I need for you to be realistic and understand the Dallas Cowboys, they are not America's team anymore. It is what it is. All right, so look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, go ahead and follow the podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to my website at atswmikedavis.com. Get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions or read any other blogs. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.